The soft rebellion, when survival mode becomes a life sentence. Welcome to the Soft Girl Era podcast, hosted by LeAnne Dolce. Pronounced Dolce like sweet softness whispered in French. Today, I want to share something that might crack you open a little, maybe a lot. I recently sat down with Krisinda Foster, a woman whose story is reshaping how Black women everywhere understand resilience, rest, and what it actually means to keep living when everything you thought was solid turns to sand beneath your feet. Krisinda is making the world softer, one brutally honest conversation at a time. She's reminding us that survival doesn't have to be our permanent address, that the brave face we wear to work, to church, to family gatherings doesn't have to be the face we wear alone at night. Her courage to speak her truth, to say the quiet parts out loud, is changing lives. And today I'm sharing the wisdom she offered us because I believe it might just change yours too. Here's what Krisinda taught me and what I hope burrows deep into your bones long after this episode ends. Life goes on. Even when you're separated from the man you've been with since you were 21, even when you're still legally married but emotionally untethered, floating in some strange liminal space between what was and what might be. Even when you're putting on a brave face for the world, showing up to meetings, smiling at your kids, answering texts with upbeat emojis, all while feeling like a complete mess inside. Life goes on. And that's not a platitude I'm tossing at you like a self help bumper sticker. That's a promise. That's a lifeline. That's the truth that keeps you breathing when the air feels too thick to inhale. Let me tell you what Krisinda wants you to remember, especially if you're a Black woman navigating heartbreak, betrayal, or the bone deep exhaustion of holding it all together while quietly falling apart. First, life goes on despite the visible strength that hides your inner turmoil. You can be falling apart and still show up. That's not fake. That's not performing. That's being human in a world that demands superhuman from Black women before we've even finished our morning coffee. Second, embracing softness and rest is the key to true healing after betrayal. Not hustle, not proving yourself, not grinding until you've earned the right to exhale. Softness. And third, building emotional safety through community sustains long term thriving. You cannot heal in isolation. You were never meant to. We are not built for solitary survival. We are built for collective care. Now, I want to bring these truths to life through the stories of three Black women who've walked this path before us, who've proven that softness isn't surrender, it's strategy, it's revolution. It's the quiet rebellion that changes everything. Let's start with Kanathea Powell. Kanathea is a Black leader who guides high achieving Black women out of survival mode and into what she calls sustainable softness. She's working with women who are overworked, underrested, and burning out under the weight of professional pressures, racial violence, and pandemic stress that never really ended. It just became background noise. Sound familiar? Canathea's solution isn't another productivity hack. It's not a morning routine or a time management app. It's what she calls soft infrastructure: therapists, peer circles, community support, systems that help you regulate your emotions and delegate without the crushing guilt that whispers you're failing if you're not doing everything yourself. The outcome: sharper leadership, holistic thriving, success redefined as a strategic business decision, not a badge of burnout you wear until you collapse. Canathea's work counters the endless resilience narratives we've been fed since childhood. You know the ones: the strong Black woman who never breaks, the one who holds everyone together, the one who sacrificed herself on the altar of everyone else's comfort. Canathea is helping Black women step into a soft girl era where rest fuels power, not weakness, where saying no is an act of self preservation, not selfishness. She's transformed survival into sacred sustainability, inspiring a generation to embrace emotional honesty and joy without apology. And here's the relevance to Krisinda's story. Kennethia shows us how Black women heal the inner mess through softness post trauma, mirroring that brave face versus inner turmoil dynamic Krisinda described. Life goes on when you choose softness over suffering, when you stop performing strength and start practicing care. Then there's Tamika Lipscomb, a Black therapist who built a directory for Black women seeking affirming care. Tamika saw the vulnerability stigma, the emotional shutdown in high achieving Black women that was blocking sustainable success. She saw women who could run companies, lead movements, raise children, and manage households, but couldn't ask for help, couldn't admit they were drowning, couldn't say, I need support, without feeling like they'd failed some unspoken test of worthiness. So Tamika positioned rest, boundaries, and nervous system regulation as tools for wholeness, rejecting hustle culture entirely. Not as a luxury, not as something you earn after you've achieved enough, as a necessity, as a birthright, the outcome, authentic joy, self preservation, transformed leadership without apology. Tamika addressed the emotional reality of Black women founders and created accessible healing spaces. She launched a specialized directory that eases access to care, centering humanity in business. Her impact? She shifted narratives for Black professionals, making softness a competitive edge in tech and entrepreneurship. She proved that you don't have to burn out to be brilliant. That rest is not the opposite of productivity, it's the foundation of it. Tamika exemplifies moving forward after hurt by embracing softness publicly while healing privately, aligning perfectly with Krisinda's post separation resilience. Life goes on when you give yourself permission to be whole, not just strong. When you stop equating exhaustion with excellence. And finally, Vinciel Kinard. Vansha focuses on high achieving Black professionals, addressing childhood trauma that manifests as perfectionism, especially post heartbreak. She's naming the invisible struggles, overworking, emotional shutdown, being the perpetual strong one in every room, every relationship, every crisis, the one everyone leans on, but who has nowhere to lean herself. Her solution? Naming unhealed wounds through collective healing, rest, and trauma informed care. The outcome? Wholeness, reduced burnout, space for joy beyond survival, space to actually live instead of just endure. Vanciel's soft girl rebellion helps Black women choose themselves when the cape gets too heavy, when the weight of everyone else's expectations threatens to crush them. She sparked movements reclaiming softness as rebellion against systemic pressures. She's empowered Black leaders to prioritize mental health, fostering community wide thriving. Boncio captures the inner mess beneath outward strength after personal pain, perfectly echoing Krisinda's story of life continuing amid marital hurt. Life goes on when you stop performing strength and start practicing softness. When you give yourself permission to be human, messy, imperfect, and still worthy of love, rest, and care. These women, Canathea, Tamika, Vonciel, they're not just surviving, they're rewriting the script. They're dismantling the myth that Black women have to be strong all the time, that we have to carry everyone and everything without complaint, that softness is weakness and rest is laziness. And so is Krisinda Foster. So can you. Here's what Krisinda wants you to do differently after hearing this. Pause the brave face. Just for a moment, just long enough to tell the truth. Journal one inner truth you've been hiding, or seek a soft support circle, a space where you don't have to explain your exhaustion or justify your rest, where you can say, I'm not okay, and hear back, me neither, and that's okay too. One small step towards softness this week. That's it. Not a 5 year plan, not a vision board, not a complete life overhaul, just one honest breath, one moment of truth, one small act of self compassion. And here's how Crescenda wants you to feel during and after this conversation. empowered yet soft, hopeful that life goes on, calm, low, mindful, like you're finally allowed to exhale after holding your breath for years. Because you are. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to be soft. You are allowed to choose yourself without guilt, without apology, without explanation. Let me be clear about something. The soft girl era isn't about aesthetics. It's not about pink pillows and bubble baths, though, if those bring you joy, take them with both hands. This is about a spiritual, emotional, and mental recalibration. It's about high achieving Black women, especially those between 38 and 55 who've spent years, decades even, in survival mode. You've led teams, raised families, held down households, carried communities on your back, showed up when you were tired, smiled when you were hurting, kept going when you wanted to quit. And now you're exhausted. You're ready to shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding in joy, peace, softness, and self prioritization. This podcast is the sacred pause you've been waiting for. It's not a trend, it's a lifestyle rebellion, a deep exhale from the Superwoman script that's been suffocating you since childhood, a quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. We're here to help you heal from trauma. Many of you have survived deep wounds, abuse, grief, betrayal, chronic overextension that's left you hollow. This is a space where healing isn't just possible, it's prioritized. We're here to help you drop the Superwoman cape. You're tired of being strong all the time. Softness is not weakness, it's a radical act of self love. We're here to help you learn to say no without guilt. The sis say no boundaries. Kid exists because your energy is sacred and you deserve to guard it with warmth and confidence. We're here to help you reclaim your identity, not the version shaped by family expectations, church roles, or boardroom rules, but the real you that's been waiting to bloom. And we're here to honor your faith as foundation. Many of you integrate faith deeply into your transformation. This podcast honors that, combining emotional honesty with spiritual grounding. This is why Soft Girl Era resonates. It's culturally grounded, reflecting the real voices and emotional language of Black women, sassy, soulful, and sharp. It's emotionally intelligent. We're not telling you to hustle harder. We're asking how you're really doing, and it's permission giving. You have permission to rest, reset, and redefine strength on your own terms. So here's the central question we're asking in every episode, and the question I'm asking you right now: how are you learning to be soft in a world that taught you survival? Every story we share, no matter the professional title, trauma, or triumph, traces back to letting go of hustle as identity, learning to say no without guilt, setting boundaries without apology, resting without explanation, and embracing healing, wholeness, softness, and emotional honesty. Krisinda Foster answered these questions with raw honesty. She told us about separating in 2022, about still being legally married, about putting on a brave face while feeling like a mess. And then she said something that stopped me cold. She said, I am still alive. I am living, even though my husband has gone on and bought a house right next to his mother's house. It'll all make sense soon. That sentence contains multitudes: the pain, the confusion, the determination to keep breathing, the refusal to let heartbreak have the final word. That's the kind of honesty that changes lives. That's the kind of vulnerability that gives other women permission to stop pretending. That's the kind of softness that's actually strength. Life goes on even when it doesn't make sense, even when it hurts so much you can barely see straight, even when you're still figuring it out, one messy day at a time. Life goes on, and you get to choose how you show up for it. You get to choose softness. You get to choose rest. You get to choose yourself. Krisinda Foster is living proof that you can survive the unraveling and still bloom. She's making the world a better place by refusing to hide her humanity. And that's the invitation I'm extending to you today. Here's what I need you to do. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, right now. I need you to identify one thing you've been carrying that was never yours to carry, one expectation, one role, one responsibility, one mask. And I need you to set it down gently with love, but set it down. I need you to find one person, just one, who makes you feel safe enough to tell the truth, to say, I'm struggling, to admit I need help, to confess I'm tired of being strong. And I need you to reach out to them this week, not with a brave face, with your real face. And I need you to give yourself permission to rest without earning it, to be soft without justifying it, to choose yourself without apologizing for it. Because the world doesn't need another exhausted Black woman performing strength she doesn't feel. The world needs you whole, rested, soft, and free. Stop hiding, stop performing, stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Choose softness, choose rest, choose community, choose healing, choose you. Because life goes on and you deserve to be soft while it does. You deserve to thrive, not just survive. You deserve joy, not just endurance. You deserve to bloom, not just breathe. This is your invitation. This is your permission. This is your moment. Welcome to your soft girl era. Now go live it.